Aquaman rules a nation and belongs to the Justice League. This brings with it its own set of challenges. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. As the morning sun begins to rise, Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, looks out from his lighthouse with his fiancée, Mara, preparing for the big day. Today will hopefully be the day that he can finally make the bridge between the people of the land and the people of the sea. The surface has feared Atlantis, just as Atlantis has never trusted the surface. And thanks to his dear brother Orm, the surface has plenty of reason to fear Atlantis. Mara tells him he'll be fine. She's proud of him for what he's doing, and she'll be with him every step of the way. But as they go back to their lighthouse, someone watches them from afar. Later, on the Atlantean Dry Land Embassy, Spindrift Station, people and reporters begin to arrive, but among them is Joanna Stubbs of the Royal British Navy to take her position as the British Navy liaison to Atlantis. Everyone has a chance to enter the embassy, and then they hear a voice call out to them that it is an honor for them to be here today. Arthur continues stating that his name is Arthur Curry, or as the world calls him, Aquaman, and welcome to the Atlantean Embassy. He wanted to bring the world press and international agencies here today to give them a tour of the Spindrift facility and answer any questions that they may have. This will be a meeting point, a place to learn about one another, but first, they must eat and enjoy themselves. As Joanna and Ray Delane, a reporter for the Daily Planet, look at the hors d'oeuvres, Ray begins to ask, what is this, some kind of shrimp? An Atlantean guard tells him that it is a lockway, something that they would call a sea slug, and Ray begins to gag, asking where the restroom is. After running off, Mara begins to tell the guard that he should go check on Mr. Delane. She would rather not have a bad trip advisor over their food here. The guard goes to check on the man and he finds him hunched over in a hallway, and that's when he notices something along the walls. As he looks closer, he finds explosives, and then his head is slammed into the wall. Ray says that there is really no Ray Delane, and then his body begins to change as he stabs the guard in the neck. Suddenly, back in the conference room, explosions begin to go off and the aquatic compartments begin to pour in. Mara holds the water back from flooding and tells Arthur to find the culprit. But as Arthur leaves, a figure begins to appear from the water, shooting Mara, stating, of all the things he could lose, she will hurt him the most. Then from the waters, Arthur jumps out with his trident, stabbing Black Manta, stating, you will never stop, will you? And Manta asks him, would you if I had murdered your father? And the two begin to fight back and forth. Black Manta manages to stab Arthur, telling him, what you're trying to do here, you're deluded. The world is afraid of you as they should be, and I have come here to end the war. As Arthur falls back, Black Manta tells him that it's time for round 2, and then he clicks the detonator, setting off more explosions around the entire facility. Arthur then tells Joanna to take Mara out of there, and then his back is slammed against the wall, stabbing the spear through him into the wall. Joanna asks what he's doing, and then Arthur pushes forward, pulling himself through the spear, and he tells her, go! Arthur jumps back into the fight, telling Manta that his father was no innocent, and God knows that he isn't either, but killing his father was the worst mistake that he's ever made as Aquaman. The boy who killed your father was not ready to be Aquaman, but Aquaman could not exist without the burden of that mistake. This endless feud achieves nothing, and Manta asks, nothing? Just look at what I've done. I've crushed your dreams, I've shamed you in the eyes of the world, and I've sundered any hope of a union between Atlantis and the surface. But as Manta stands over him, stating, no one walks away from a blood feud like ours. Arthur tells him, if you choose to stop, but Manta tells him he won't ever. Arthur tells him if that's the way it must be, then I will end this, and he grabs his trident and he begins slashing away at Manta, knocking his helmet off and pinning him to the wall. Manta tells him, go on, do it, damn you, kill me, and you will forever be tarnished for killing me. But if I kill Aquaman, I will avenge my father. So either way, morally or literally, Aquaman loses. Aquaman lowers the trident, telling him, fine, then kill me. And then what? Being Aquaman means that I have a life, one with meaning. You though, if you kill me, you'll be left with nothing. Nothing I can do to you will ever be enough. Manta remains silent and he throws down the trident, and Arthur says, you're empty, and I'm truly sorry for you. You miss your father every day, and I'm sorry that I took him from you. A short while later, the military arrives and they arrest Black Manta and they take him away. But during the car ride, an explosion goes off, flipping the transport with Manta. He crawls out asking, who the hell are you? And the woman tells him, we could be friends. We have mutual interests, so let's go find out where this can lead. The next day, Commander Merc of the Atlantean Royal Guard is stopped from entering the embassy. The military tells him that they are securing the area, and Arthur appears asking what seems to be the problem. Merc says that this wretch is barring us from entering. and Arthur stops him, telling him, "Stand down. What is going on?" The man says the State Department revoked the embassy status at 6 this morning. Their orders are to let no one into this former embassy, and right now, they don't want an incident. Arthur assures him, "There won't be one. Are you really that afraid of us?" And the man says, "We don't want to be, but we have our reasons. Boston, New York, Metropolis." And Arthur then asks, "Who do I speak to about this then?" Elsewhere, in an abandoned airfield in Maine, Black Manta sits with a woman known as Blackjack, and she tells him that they are with Nemo. She tells him that he put on quite a show yesterday, single-handedly taking down the Atlantean embassy. It's just a hunch, but she assumes that he really doesn't like Aquaman, does he? Manta says that he's still waiting for an explanation, and Blackjack says, "Well, she's come to make you a job offer. Nemo can use you and your talents, so we're gonna go ahead and uncuff you now." Manta shakes his wrist as the cuffs fall off, stating, "Thanks, but no thanks. I can get them off myself." He then gets up, hitting one of the guards and kicking the other one away. While he continues to fight off the guards, Blackjack tells him, "A man of your capabilities just seems like a damn shame wasting them on an obsession like vengeance when you could be doing so much more." Manta stops, asking, "What did you say?" And she tells him, "Nemo has no love for Aquaman, but he is right about some things. We should have a proper conversation. If things go well, you can meet the boss." Over in Washington, Arthur and Mara meet with the Chief of Staff, Mr. Gantry of the White House. Arthur says that he is here to request the reinstatement of the diplomatic status of Atlantis and the resumption of the dialogue between their two nations. Closing the embassy this morning was not a friendly act. Mr. Gantry says, "Listen, Your Majesty, but relations have never been good, and that's a shame. During your people's struggle for the throne of Atlantis, cities in the US mainland suffered massive damage and lost many civilian lives. But while they're continuing their discussions, out in the South Atlantic aboard a US ship, an explosion goes off. While some of the crew members try to evacuate the passengers, one of them sees a shadow looming over them, and then that shadow shouts, 'In the name of Atlantis, the deluge sweeps you away.'" Back in the White House, the agents enter the conference with Arthur and Mara, stating that he's sorry, but he's arresting Aquaman under the Patriot Act for crimes against the US. 32 minutes ago, a US ship had lost all hands in the South Atlantic, and the ones responsible for the attack is being claimed by Atlantis. Arthur is then cuffed, and Mara tells the agents to stop, but Arthur tells her not to do anything. "This was a mistake, and we will prove it. Don't do anything rash, Mara." She asks if he just expects her to watch as they drag him away in chains, and he tells her, "That's exactly what I expect you to do." After Arthur is taken away, Mara contacts Tula, the regent Arthur appointed while he was away, to explain the current situation. Tula tells her that she understands how much she would like to lash out and free their king. However, he is going to try and forge peace with this land. Mara slowly begins to calm down, and then she asks if they're investigating what the Americans are claiming, which Tula tells her she is working on right now. As the call ends, Captain Saran reports that the Drift, the elite Royal Atlantean guards, are approaching the wrecked ship now. Merc reports over the radio that they are now accessing the shipwreck, and upon looking at the damages, they can determine that Atlantean war tech was used to bring it down. And while looking into it further, Merc finds an Atlantean war sword stuck into the ship, but this is a 5th Dynasty sword, an heirloom blade. No Atlantean soldier would ever leave it stuck in the hull of a ship. Whoever did this deliberately left it to leave a mark, to indicate responsibility and discredit the Atlantean people. But before the investigation can go any further, Merc hears someone calling out to them, and when they look up, they see a group of American special forces. The soldiers tell them to submit immediately, and Tula tells them to break away and withdraw. "Do not engage!" Then the radio goes silent. Down in Arthur's holding cell, an agent asks what exactly is the deluge, and Arthur tells him that they are a terrorist group, or rather were, the Atlantean xenophobes, but he shut them down. The agent then mentions the last transmissions from the ship mentioned the deluge among Atlantis, and if the Atlantean radicals acted outside of his control, Arthur, realizing what's going on, tells them that they must let him go. They were intending to attack the US mainland. "If you leave me locked up in here, there isn't anything that I can do to stop them." However, behind the guards, Mara bursts through, knocking the guards out, stating that she decided she doesn't like being here in Washington, and she'd very much like to go home now. Arthur tries to tell her that she can't, but she rips the cell door off, telling him shots have been fired. Atlantean and US forces have engaged. It's not by you, it's not by me, and not by Tula, but the war is about to break out. As the two of them run out of the cell and exit the jail, Arthur begins to ask which way is the closest body of water, and Mara points, stating 8 miles in that direction. Arthur asks, "That way?" Because in front of them, the entire US military begins to surround them. The military then receives word that they can go in hot, and they begin opening fire on Arthur and Mara. Mara begins to avoid the bullets, and she jumps onto a tank, ripping its cannon off. The soldiers then tell her, "Holy crap!" And Mara says, "Good day," and she punches him, then tosses the cannon at one of the helicopters. Arthur then leaps in to catch the falling helicopter, telling her, "No one dies today." After setting the helicopter down, the two begin fighting off the military in non-lethal ways and just knocking out any soldier in their path. But while Arthur and Mera attempt to escape. Down in Atlantis, Captain Saran reports Merc and the Drift managed to escape from the American Navy, but they intercepted the US transmissions. Their king and Lady Mera are now under attack by significant US military forces. They have been ordered to kill them, and Tula tells them to mobilize the war fleet. Over in Antarctica, after some convincing, Blackjack takes Black Manta to see their leader, the Fisher King. He says Blackjack says that he would make a fine addition to their inner circle, and Manta asks if he is the Fisher King. The Fisher King responds with yes, but it's just a title. I'm really Lord of the World. I hold power and influence beyond your imagination, so tell me why I should give you a share of that. Manta tells him, you're thinking too small. I can show you how to think much bigger. Back in Washington, the US forces continue to pursue Arthur and Mera, and they continue forcing their way through the forces. But as Mera rips off another gun turret, Arthur tells her to stop. Mera looks up and says, oh. And Superman tells her, that's some pretty good advice. I think we should talk about this now, Arthur. Superman says that he just spoke with the president, and whatever this is, it's going to end right now. Arthur looks at him stating, the president of the United States believes that I am an international terrorist, an enemy of the state, and now it seems that you have become their enforcer, Superman. Superman tells him no, the president did call him, but he came voluntarily to help. He was told about the situation, and right now he just wants to resolve this. Arthur turns away stating, if you trusted me, you wouldn't be standing in my way. Then as he tries to walk away, Superman grabs his shoulder telling him, you can't leave. Arthur asks him, I can't leave? I am a king! And he swings both of his fists, cracking Superman in the face, launching him away. Superman then punches him back, stating, I won't step aside. Let me come to Atlantis with you. Perhaps you need help. Then Mera runs in punching him. He already has help! Arthur and Mera begin attacking from both sides, while Arthur says that he's tried to get past it. The beloved Trinity, that is Superman, Diana, and Batman. The loyal and true trio, Lantern, Flash, and Cyborg. Then there's him, the Molewark, the Black Sheep. That's how he sees himself being seen among the Justice League. The punches continue to fly, each side knocking each other away, and then Superman grabs Arthur by the arm, slamming him into a tree, telling him that they have a responsibility to demonstrate the Justice League is not above the law. Just come with him now. They can even call a league in to help. But Arthur kicks him away asking, why? So you can undermine the hell out of me? I'm the one that needs to do this. For the good of Atlantis, I have to fix this. I am their king. Please, give me the chance to show what that means, or there's no damn point in me existing at all. Darkness begins to cover the battlefield as the entire Atlantean war fleet arrives. And Superman asks him, so, peaceful intentions, huh, Arthur? Arthur tells him, don't be an idiot. Their king is under attack. And then Superman asks him, what are they waiting for? The Atlantean army stands ready, and Arthur says, they're waiting for me to say attack. Arthur then holds his hand out, telling Tula to hold her fire. They're done here. He has stopped this war, and now he's going to prevent the next one. He then asks Superman, are you going to stand in my way? And Superman tells him, fix this, or else. Back in Antarctica, the Fisher King laughs, telling Manta that he must think by joining Nemo that he may have a say in how things work. However, Nemo's agenda has been set for decades. Everything we've done, will do, is a carefully structured program of global manipulation. No newcomer, however talented he is, will come with radical ideas and disrupt our intricately designed program. You could be an asset to us, but you will be an instrument. Manta says that he's never served under anyone, and the Fisher King tells him, get used to it. With a sudden lunge, Manta slices the Fisher King's throat, and Blackjack shouts, what the hell are you doing? And Manta takes the throne, telling her, long live the king. Any questions? Back over in the Atlantic, as Arthur and Mera head back to Atlantis, Mera asks if he was really just threatened by Superman, and Arthur tells her, yes. She asks if Superman was serious, and Arthur tells her, absolutely. It means that I really have to fix this. I have not been this excited about an Aquaman storyline since the start of the New 52. It's an amazing story, and I love the direction they're going with this, and it's actually this storyline that got me to reconsider reading political storylines, which is how come I started enjoying the Black Panther storyline. So basically, I'm reading those kinds of stories now. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, and I can't wait to see where this is gonna go. Follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here.